Now, Good Friday, so firstly, happy Easter. In just a few moments' time, we'll be joined by James as well. But as always, it's over to you to interact with us. So, if you're watching right now, as I said, happy Easter to start with. Let's get the show rolling. And this, as we said, we've got a pretty hot topic. We're talking possessions and mediums. Are they real? Well, it's up to you to have your say on the show this evening. We can see your comments, so please post your comments on our Facebook page. Give us a like and also give us a share as well. The more people we get on this evening, the better. And hopefully, you're staying nice and safe in your homes this evening. It's been pretty nice outside, pretty warm outside today. I hope you've been enjoying the nice sun from lockdown, of course, in your back gardens because that's been a very, very nice day. And as we said, whilst we're unable to do our ghost tours and ghost hunts because we can't do them for the time being, whilst lockdown continues, we are going to bring you regular supernatural lives, and that's hosted by supernatural tours and events, but also from our relaunched supernatural news. If you haven't been on that yet, make sure you jump on the live page for the supernatural news and join that. And we'll be doing all sorts of things. We'll be doing podcasts, we'll be doing news articles, lives, videos, interviews, so much more. And you can catch our podcast, The Supernatural Edge, which oddly is performing very well in France. Who knew? Uh, Thanks to anybody in France who's been listening to it, and also in the United States, and of course, right here in the UK. So the Supernatural Edge has got a right page. You can find it on Anchor, you can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Overcast, Castbox, Google Play. Basically, anywhere that does podcasts, you can basically find it, and it's free. So we have done mini podcasts the last year. We'll be extending those to be full podcasts very, very soon. So hopefully staying safe. But thank you for joining the show this evening. As we said, the big debate, possessions and mediums, are they real? So let's first look at possessions. Now, as you know, we see them in horror movies, we see them documented all the time. You may have seen TV shows where people have been possessed. You might have seen The Exorcist, who knows, quite a scary movie from back in the 70s. Not quite so scary now. And the millions of movies that Hollywood have been throwing out over the last few years, all around possession. Now, let's give you an overview of what possession is alleged to be. So we're saying it's a spirit being able to take over and channel and communicate for the use of a living person's body. That's basically what it is. Now, in most cases, the mediums or anybody who has a possession doesn't remember it. Sometimes they do, but in a lot of cases they don't. Now, this gets quite heavily debated because in the United Kingdom we refer to it a lot as possession by ghosts. Whilst if you go to somewhere like America, yeah, they do the ghost thing, but they also believe, much like the church does, that these are demons possessing people, what we call simply demonic possession. So whatever your views are on this, we want you to get involved with us and let us know, are you a believer of possession? If you are a believer, tell us why. Tell us about your experiences. If you're not a believer, again, same question. You can't share experiences, of course, because you won't have any, but you can still share your views on why you believe possessions are not real. And if you think they're not real, why? Is it simply an act? Now, to kick things off, let's look at both sides of the story. We're going to kick off with the legitimate side that people believe they do exist. Good evening, Leslie. Let's kick off first with the reasons for possession. So, yes, we've seen The Exorcist, but remember that Exorcist was based very loosely on a true story. Okay, although in the movie it's a girl, in real life it was a boy, and he claimed to have been possessed. Admitted, wasn't quite to the detriment you saw in the movie, but what they did do is they did take him to a church and they did make him do all sorts of things there. They also made him do a lot of psychological tests to rule out any of those obvious things. They couldn't find a reason for what happened. Now, I think the man, I'm not sure he's still alive, but he was obviously for years afterwards, he never spoke about those experiences. He kept quiet, and in a lot of places, it's very hard to actually find his real name. But nonetheless, it still happened. Okay, so again, a very famous story. Last week we talked about the Enfield poltergeist, another situation where a girl allegedly possessed by the ghost of a man who lived in the house. And again, started to do strange actions, started to move, started to speak in different voices, and again, alleged that she was possessed. So, there are lots of things to go in his favour. Now, remember as well, we said that the church often believes in demonic possession, not necessarily ghosts. So, for example, the Catholic Church, a few years ago, a long time ago, in fact, I had the opportunity to work with the local priest here in the Catholic Church in Hampshire, who does the exorcisms. Now, it's not a light decision, it's a very heavy decision to do. Now, remember, Catholic Church, other than Jesus, Easter, doesn't believe in necessarily ghosts. They believe it's all demons, which is something completely different. Nonetheless, it still happened. And after psychological tests, after trying to throw holy water and trying to get rid of the demon, as it were, they then do the whole thing you've seen with the Bible to try and rid the spirit. There's a lot of psychological tests involved in this. And a lot of occasions he was telling me they can't find reasons through psychological tests. So it has to be the demon. What else can explain such strange occurrences? Who knows? So there's lots of studies, there's lots of things suggest that maybe possession is real. But what about on the other side of the fence, where people think it's just simply an act? Well, let's go back to the Victorian times here in England and the UK, where spiritualism was absolutely rife. People loved it. It was like their version of, I don't know, Tiger King, whatever. People loved it. And they did lots of things. They did seances, they did table tipping, they did whatever they could to make contact with ghosts. But while some of it was real, some of it wasn't. Okay, so what we're saying is some of it was simply an act to scare people. What they would do is they would plant people in seance to take part if they really were possessed. They would try and pull through information. They would do tricks like squeeze boxes and using string to make things move, and all sorts of strange behaviour to make you believe they really were possessed. So, again, we looked at both sides. We looked at real possessions, potentially, who knows? We've looked at the side where people don't believe in possessions. I think they're simply an act. Now, I've done ghost hunts for a long, long time. I've seen some strange things over the years, but I'm not that person. So, is it easy for me to say they're not possessed, or is it easy to say they are possessed? If they are possessed, what causes this to happen? Is it simply something in your brain that happens that we don't yet understand as humans? Because just be honest, we know what 10% of our brain does. We don't know what the other 90% does. So maybe there's something in there that makes this happen. So we can't yet explain. So I want to hear from you tonight. If you've experienced a possession, or maybe you've seen the possession, maybe you've been possessed, I don't know. Whatever the case might be, get in touch, drop us a message, and let us know, and we will share it with the audience this evening. On the other side of the fence, a little bit later on in the show, we're going to look at mediums, which nicely links into this, and whether you think mediums are real. Now, again, it's a massive debating topic. I want to get people tuning in. Let's just talk about mediums. To kind of give you a bit of an appetite while waiting. So, simply said, mediums, the different types, they can communicate with spirits. Okay, there's lots of different ways they can do this, and depending on what type of medium or what type of psychic they tend to be. So, if you're a medium, it tends to mean, really, in a nutshell, in the parapsychology terms, it means that you're between, you basically got a spirit guide in between you and the deceased. That makes sense. So you've got someone there to relay the message. But you might also be one of the other kind of things as well. So Leslie's nicely said on there as well, and she feels the emotion of the spirit, but doesn't feel I'm possessed. Yeah, I mean, that can happen. So, cortical sensitives, and I don't mean they cry when I watch Titanic, that was very sad, and it is the anniversary of Titanic leaving Southampton today. should remember before making comments like that. Yes, that can happen. People can feel as they are possessed. Sorry, they can feel the emotions, they can feel there's someone around them, but that's as much as they can tell. But is that because it comes down to development, or does it come down to it just happens? Because I always relate it to playing a guitar, right? We can all pick up a guitar, we can all pluck a string. Some of us need learning, that will be great. Some of us always need that gradual development. Some of us can play it naturally, if we've always played it fantastically well. And some of us, no matter how much we try, we're not going to be able to do it. And that's my belief again with this is it as simple as learning to upskill, I suppose, in a way. James, thank you for joining us. James Edwards this evening, who's been in touch. I believe I may have had an attachment from near St Catherine's Hill, an old bridge used there for an old railway. It's hidden. Oh, I like the sound of that. By bushes. I've done an investigation down there, and afterwards I could not stop thinking about going back there. I lost sleep through it. So, James, I mean, fill me in on this one. Is that have you had other experiences, or is that the only experience you've had? And how did it make you feel as well? And does that make you believe that this is real? This is absolutely 100% real? Because we've seen those TV shows where people are, and this is my opinion only. It's not the opinion of supernatural tools or anything. We've seen these shows where people apparently are possessed. They bring through lots of information, and there's been all sorts of stuff in the media about how they faked it or made it up, or whatever the case might be. I don't know. We're not going to go down that road too much, but it certainly is there. And I think that when we talk about mediumship, and let's be real here, there are lots of fantastic mediums out there. We don't want to discredit what they do, but we have to be very clear here that sometimes, well, it's not the case. And I've worked in paranormal for a long, long time, and I know more than anybody that some people are in this game because they want to profit or be famous. And my response to that used to be, well, go on the X Factor, go on Big Brother, whatever you need to be famous, but don't do it in the paranormal, because we want real mediums, not people who've gone on Facebook to look up stuff or tricked people into giving information. And the paranormal is plagued by people that want to be famous, and this is not the place to do it. This is a place to come, learn, enjoy with like-minded people. We don't want people faking to be mediums. It's not the right thing to do. So, some fantastic stuff coming through. Thank you so much for your comments. Louise been in touch as well, saying, not sure I believe in possession. I believe in ghosts, but I'm not sure I believe in possession. It just seems a bit too far-fetched, as I've never seen it before. And I believe in ghosts. How come it doesn't happen to me? Very plausible question. If you believe in ghosts, what doesn't happen to you? Good question. Now, it's very hard to answer that because everybody's very different in terms of what happens and how they pick up spirits and things. I guess maybe something you've got to learn about. Maybe it's lucky it hasn't happened, or maybe it's not open up. Who knows? Who knows what the answer to that one is? But maybe there's someone out there who wants to comment on that. Please feel free to. James has been back in contact again, saying, yes, definitely I believe it is real, but I do feel that some shows are over exaggerated. I love all the shows and watch them. I do love investigating myself. I think there's a very good point there, James. Thanks for mentioning that. Is that your own experiences are the best, right? They're going to be the ones that make you either believe or not if you don't have experiences. You're right. There's lots of TV shows out there. I personally don't really watch them. I only tend to watch them if they've been to somewhere I've been. And we had to remember that at the beginning of that show, the statement says, this program is for entertainment purposes only. Now, let's put it this way. I'm not saying they never get anything, because they obviously do at some points. But would you watch an hour of a paranormal show in a haunted venue when nothing happened? Okay, hands up, you might do. I'll happily do that. But a high percentage of people are not going to watch that. It's like watching a scary movie with nothing scary happening. You know what I mean? It's just not going to work. So they've got to find something. They've got to almost act up to it. And I'm not talking about any show in particular because I don't work for them, so I don't know what they do. But it's just a passing comment. James saying, yes, I would happily watch that too. You know what? I love going to ghost hunts. I've done ghost hunts for many, many years now. And it doesn't bother me in the slightest if I go there and nothing happens. It just doesn't. Because anything does happen, to me, is it's like a plus point, isn't it? It's like a game. But don't ever go to a ghost hunt. And what we're talking about TV shows, what we should remember here is if you do go to a ghost hunt, don't go with the perception of the TV shows. What I mean by that is sometimes stuff happens, sometimes it doesn't. It takes a bit of time sometimes. It's just the name of the game, really. It takes time if something does happen. Remember, those TV shows spend probably 8, 12 hours in that venue for 42 minutes worth of TV time. So naturally, they're going to cut the bits where nothing happens, and they're the most interesting bits. So just remember that as well if you are doing ghost hunts. So yes, we talked about possessions. We've kind of given an intro to mediumship as well. Now we're throwing the lines over to you at home to have your say on what you think about both of those topics. So, possession. If it's not real, how do scientists explain it? Well, quite simply, they think maybe it's something in our mind that makes us act as someone else. But if that happens, why is it when sometimes people get possessed, they're bringing through legitimate information about someone they kind of didn't know? There's a good question for you. Maybe there's something we can do with our mind that we haven't yet known. Who knows? Kerry's been in touch. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. You can never expect paranormal activity. It's potluck. Either you get activity in the night or nothing. You can't. They don't work on the back. You know what? I absolutely agree with you, Kerry. And that's the exact way we should be doing ghost hunts. And that is that we don't know if something's going to happen. If it does happen, let's celebrate. Fantastic is what we want. But let's be real here. It's not always going to happen. Okay, you might go to a place one week and all hell breaks loose. Naturally, next week you might go and nothing happens. Insane. But let's pick up on that point in a second. In touch with Stephen Kate, welcome. Kate's got a lot of experience in this field, so no doubt can give us a lowdown on your thoughts on that as well. And very soon we will have James joining us live. I think I can see him in the corner of the screen there. I'm just going to quickly test with him. James, can you hear me? Right, we're gonna bring him live. You're live on the channel, something or other. Don't swear. Um, like magic's gonna come up on the screen right now. Woo!
Hello.
Evening.
How are you today?
Oh, well, we're in lockdown. The sun has been shining. We've all been out in our gardens, in our own gardens in lockdown, having fun. And you know what? I've got 4 weeks of doing nothing because in my normal job I'm on furlough, whatever, however you say it. So I've got 4 weeks and 3 days of this and podcasting. I've got a Lego thing. Oh, I've got this to do. Look at that. Bit of Lego to do as well to keep me occupied. So tonight we're talking about possessions. We're talking about mediums. Why we kicked off the show this evening, we've been talking about what possessions really are. We've looked at the scientific side, we looked at the paranormal side, and we've done exactly the same with mediums as well. James, you worked as a medium for a long time. Give us your thoughts on what is a medium.
Mediums, those things, different people will probably have different interpretations. My personal thoughts are it's a medium that someone, or is someone that can speak to the dead. Now, of course, you've had different mediums out there. Some like to work with, I guess, higher energies. And what I mean by that is in more family members, one-to-one readings and stuff like that. Where a lot of people will say for lower energies is what you find on for ghost hunts and stuff like that. But yeah, my main view is I know there's like clairsentient, clairaudient. There's a number of different clairs, probably about 300
Yeah, I know
different
quite
ones.
a few players. Yeah, yeah.
But of
James,
course,
I'm going to do you a bit of the environment with the light off as well. By the way, it's good. It's good to see.
yeah, a nice little red look again. You know,
I did have a
it's
viewer question. Someone said, "Why does James never turn his light on?" This is a true story. It's a true story. It actually did happen.
I I've got a light on. I like perfect, you know. Um,
So, There's been some pretty famous mediums over the years. Some pretty famous instances where people have. You got, let's talk about these big stage shows, right? You go down to, I don't know, whatever guild hall. There's 1,500 people sat there, and they're thinking, "Oh, I love this medium. I really want something to happen." If you went and nothing happened, you'd be pretty gutted, wouldn't you?
I think this is the thing. I think for an average day person, yes, you would be pretty gutted because you've just spent, 10, 30 quid or however much it is, and nothing's really came through. But sadly, like in for paranormal, it's not always going to work. I think this is one of the reasons why some mediums um, are put under a lot of pressure because they're there to perform. And of course, like for spirit world, it doesn't always happen. But then again, it's a good way to find out if it's a true medium or not.
What would you do if you're on stage? And we talk about the local smaller gatherings like in spiritual unions or whatever, that kind of thing. I remember going a long time now to a spiritual church, right? And some of the meetings were really, really good. Some of them, oof, I would say, is quite debatable. There were people in the audience. I remember this one woman who literally put her hand up to everything, right? And I remember at one point, she even actually, as soon as the meeting went, I've got to get, well, that's me. How do you know? Because we haven't got that far yet. Then we had another medium who came and said, if you give me the name and the relationship to you on like a telephone to the other world, I can talk to them. Well, I've already given you two things. One, I've told you what relationship they are. One, I've told you, well, two actually. Told, you also know they're dead. You also know the name. What else can you possibly tell me?
The thing is, when I was trained as a medium, I always found it, and I was always told, go on less information as you can, because I think sometimes I've had it before where I've been up stage where I've started bringing someone through, and the person in front of me is like, "Oh yeah, that's so and so. Yeah, I know them this way, that way." And in all honesty, I found it very much more confusing because then I was like, "Well, where can I take this?" Because I've got to show some sort of proof and evidence. Now, if this person's just told me everything about them. Okay, yeah, you could probably go along the lines of some mediums out there do medium outs and stuff like that, and could 100% agree and bring forward that information what they've just been told. But
Yeah, just kind of squeeze in there, James, just in case anybody's wondering what a medium out is. A medium out is basically where exactly what it sounds like, really, is where if a medium isn't, let's say, necessarily being truthful, they're not an honest medium. They will, when they get to a question they can't answer, they'll go, "Oh, the person's gone now." There's a way of trying to get out of giving that information. Um, so that's what medium hour is. And Kate is quite right. Kate May said there are so many uneducated people. Sadly, they don't always know a good medium when they see one. And some work in psychic act like they're doing mediumship. Yeah, I think it's a good point there. We said before there are a lot of fantastic mediums out there, but unfortunately, the media is a very powerful tool. And the media is kind of portrayed uh, very much that mediums are not real and that they make things up. And you know what it's like? You get tarred with the same brush. That seems to be what mud sticks, doesn't it? And that tends to be a worrying thing. Um, yes, there are some great mediums out there. I mean, I've been told things from mediums that they wouldn't have known. They wouldn't have known it at all. So there must be something there. But it's a good point there. What would you say about Kate's thoughts there, James? I'm sure you can see them.
I think it's a I think the thing is, for average day person, is a lot of people that think they're going to go see a medium. The medium's going to bring forward everything they want to know, every single bit. And if they don't, they're a crap medium. But you know, it's one of those things. It's a paranormal, supernatural, whatever you want to call it. It's one of those things we can't control. And I think for the average person, you know, it can be hard to understand.
Yeah, it's a tough game. It is a tough game because you equally you're going to get people that go who maybe they're dragged along by their friend, or it's the first time they've been, so they're a little bit nervous. And sometimes you'll find the media will be picking up some cracking information, um, but people just don't put their hands up. And you find out afterwards, the culture go, oh yeah, what you said about that person, that's exactly me. Yeah, enjoy the performance.
I was just reading the comments again. Comment that James put up. So very shocked. I'll read it out. I did a mediumship course and I was very shocked at how it works. I put it in the same realm as monks' meditation and reach a higher conscience. Isn't this correct? Now, I must admit, every medium works a different way. I was always taught if I was going to do mediumship was to start off with the meditation. Now, there's many reasons behind that. Of course, you could say that's putting yourself into a higher state, but one of the things I used to find it would actually help with is it would just clear your mind because naturally we are all humans and
After all, sorry.
there's a lot of stuff going on in our daily lives, and I think sometimes starting off with a meditation, it helps you to clear your mind because the last thing you want to do is, bring forward someone's uncle or whatever and start thinking, oh my God, did I turn that oven off? So I always found it personally that the meditation was very good to help clear your mind. Hopefully that did answer your question, James.
Oh well, and Kay also brought up there a good medium can have a bad night's energy doesn't isn't right. Yeah, I completely agree with that. If you've got no energy and it's flat, that ain't gonna happen, is it?
I think there's many different examples. I stood up in front of an audience and it just wasn't flowing. And there's even some nights where I remember bringing forward a message, everything else, because I was working alongside another medium as well, and no one put their hand up, no nothing. So, of course, the energy was going down. Now, frustrating thing was is at the very end of the show, a person or a guy actually came up to me and he's like, "Oh yeah, that person you brought forward, that was
I
actually."
remember this, yeah.
But I didn't want to put my hand up because the other medium just brought forward my dad. I was like, "Oh well, you should have said something." Even though it was just like a quick hello.
Yeah, you think so, but sometimes people don't, and I think the energy has to be right. But of course, you're not open to it as well. That's going to be an issue as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the thing is, if you've got a lot of people in the audience that are very negative, don't really believe in this thing, straight away it's going to be very awkward to work. Now, for those of you that are out there as mediums or psychics or anything along those lines, it's far much more easier if you've got an audience that will not only in a sense go along with you, but will believe you in what you say.
Yeah, I think that, like I say, it's a bit of a tough game, and I think that generally speaking, a lot of people who are uneducated about this whole thing probably do have a bit of a negative view on it. And that's our job, really, to try and make people be open about it. We've always said right from the start, we're not here to make you believe, we're not here to make you disbelieve. Everyone's got the right to their own views and beliefs, but it's important everybody respects everybody else's views and beliefs as well. That's a really important part of what we're doing here. And like I said, I've been in places where people picked up on stuff and they wouldn't have known that. And if there is something in our mind that we don't yet understand, well, we may never find out, I guess, is the answer to that one. But there is, however it happens, there does seem to be a way that people can communicate with people that have
Yeah,
moved on.
there's just a story I do want to tell, and of course, even though I work as a medium, I still like to question, why and what and everything else. Now, of course, over the years, I've had a number of different readings. Now, one of the best readings I actually had was at the time. I turned around to a person and said, "I've got no idea what you're going on about." And I will tell you all. Basically, I was with a medium, and she brought forward three brothers on a ship during World War Two. Brought forward information about them, what they look like, everything else. And I was like, "Look, I've got no idea who you're going on about. I don't know anyone that went down the ship during World War Two." Brought forward more information. She, I'll give it to her. She went on for about 10 minutes about these three brothers. I said, look, I'm going to have to leave it because I've just got no idea. I don't know who they are. Anyway, so it was left like that, and I didn't think anything of it. A few days went past, and I actually spoke to my mum, and she was like, "Oh yeah, that's so and so, so and so." Now, it's a story that sticks out because I find if a medium can tell you something that you don't even know, and you've got to go away, I guess, find that proof or evidence, has got to be something fascinating because it's not like something you were going to be talking about before or out there in conversation somewhere because you know nothing about it.
But what if I know it's definitely not me? Should I still be made to agree to it?
No, I think the thing is, there is some mediums out there like will say, "Yeah, I'm bringing forward a Jack. Yeah, you do know Jack." If a person doesn't, you can't force it. I know there's mediums out there that do that, but ideally, if they're wrong, they should just say, "Okay, I'll leave it with you. Please look into this at a later date."
Yeah, you
If
may find by talking to other people it could be true.
Yeah, okay, I must admit, some people want to put on the spotlight, especially if you're in an audience and say, of 300 people or so, and a medium picks you out, you're going to be like, oh, hello, everyone's listening to me now. You may not remember anything. But I would say in any situation, you shouldn't be forced to take the information if you don't want to.
Yeah, I mean, for example, someone said to me, "Oh, I'm talking to your dad. He's called Pete," and I said, "Well, no, he's not called Pete." Yes, he is. Definitely. No, he definitely wasn't. Well, maybe people didn't know. Pretty sure he did. This is what you don't want to be falling into that realm because actually, to a certain degree, a lot of people are going to know what the dad's called in most circumstances. They're going to know what the mom's called in most circumstances. So it's going to be fairly, they're going to know if you're wrong, effectively. And I think we have to be careful because we're talking about possession tonight as well, trance possession, that kind of thing. And there are loads fantastic mediums out there. One of my favourites, of course, I've seen him for a long time, is Andy Grant, who I believe is in America working there. He is a fantastic. When I first saw him do his stuff back at Let Me Have It many years ago now, I was like, whoa, that is pretty hardcore. And he would always come through his spirit guide would always come through and communicate the information. It was just fantastic watching. Just think, this guy do this. It's brilliant. Whereas other people on the other side, I remember going to a ghost hunt many years ago where I watched a medium uh, in a break, got to an information board at a castle, read the history. Read the history. I knew what the board said because I've been there many times. And then he came back in the session, didn't know we'd seen him, and then basically recited as a medium the information he just read on the board. And I went, you just read that? And I went, no, I didn't. I said, well, if you like, I'm going to show you where you read it. And we took him to the board and went, right there. It's going to happen sometimes, but it's just wrong, isn't it?
Yeah, I remember being on a ghost hunt with another medium, and it was quite strange. Each area he went into, he picked up on the spirit. And I remember walking into, same areas, and I thought, I just can't feel, I can't, I must be something wrong. But I can't sense a spirit in every area or ghost. But of course, like you did say with Andrew Grant, he was a very fantastic medium, and he would bring forward the information. Of course, if it wasn't there, it wasn't there. But if it was, he would work for it with them the best way he could.
Yeah, that's what I like as well. The fact that he would just go, okay, fair enough. That maybe I'm wrong this time, or maybe they've got the information wrong, and he'd be quite honest. But and I'll be honest, it's quite but very often, actually, it's not that often you ever get stuff where it's not for the right person. And that's a fantastic gift to be able to have. I remember sitting there at Buckingham House one day, and you're just going, oh yeah, so-and-so's over there, and it would literally all the information off, and you think, no, he's actually right. That is all the correct information. And I think that is what we're looking for in mediumship. We're not looking for the ones who think it's like. And I'll be honest, we go on Facebook and we see it, and there's some people who've got like pages where they think they're I don't know, some sort of model, and they're trying to basically just become famous, and they're deceiving the public because they want to be famous. And in my opinion, if you want to do that, go on X Factor, go on The Voice, or whatever you want to do. But don't go to paranormal. Don't make stuff up.
Yeah, I think sadly sometimes the paranormal that people that do want to get famous, and I think one of the main issues laying, like you said earlier, people will see it and try to tie everyone with the same brush because you have got a load of fantastic mediums out there, psychics, tarot card readers, everything. But of course, sadly, some people will judge it on the one person they have actually seen and won't go and see another person.
Now, on this note, you know I have a real big bit of beef with people that put international medium. I'll tell you why I have a bit of beef with this. Because to me, if I said to you, name an international singer, who would you say?
Well,
Right. You might
I
say
like
Madonna. You might say Elton John. You might say Bon Jovi. Right. If I go to Australia and I say, name me a famous medium, they can't give me your name. You ain't international.
it's like South International because I've been to America, but I don't because you know I've done a bit of work over there, but like you said, I'm not well known over there or anywhere from that instance. And I think sometimes people cash in on it, and I've seen some mediums or some paranormal investigators, every single thing or every single thing they done, they will list, and sometimes it's just so they're trying to get out there more than what they actually should be.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's the problem with the paranormal overall. To be honest, is that there are some fantastic groups out there. There's some fantastic people out there doing this because they generally love doing this. On the other hand, I've been here many years, and I've seen time after time after time after time. I couldn't tell you how many times I've seen in the last 15 years or so that the people come on one ghost hunt, the next day you go online and they've got a fully functional website. It was up 2 days ago about how they're now a fantastically well established paranormal investigator. They've been on television 24, 385 Paris or whatever, that it probably doesn't even exist. And they're then apparently really famous ghost hunters. What is this about? Why does this happen in the paranormal?
Sadly, I don't. I know over the years, me and you have seen it quite a lot, even where people came on our fence and a day later they've got their own group up and they're doing this, that, and the other. It's not that. I, I guess it's one of those things, everyone's
Yeah.
entitled to do what they
And
want. But
we can't give names about some of those groups, but one of them, can you get your phone number updated? Because they keep calling me about your complaints. Now, moving on. I'm
I
not
wish I was
joking. I'm not joking. Um, this should be a community for the people that are out doing something like-minded. James, today, right, I had to watch it because everybody keeps going on about it. We had to watch this Tiger King on Netflix. Have you seen it?
I've not seen it, but
You should.
no,
It's extreme, but I sat there thinking, you know what? This is just like the paranormal. This is exactly like the paranormal.
yeah,
It's basically people that own different like tiger zoos and things in America, and they're basically all bitching about each other and trying to put each other out of business and arguing and suing each other. That's the paranormal.
yes, sad. Um, okay, I will start by saying there's some very good groups out there, very knowledgeable and very nice. But sadly, in the paranormal, a lot of people just don't get on, and I do find it sad in a way because I do believe if we did all get along, you know, we could all work together. We could, do huge events with each other, and bring forward more of this paranormal proof. But sadly, most groups out there just don't like working with other people.
Yeah, it's really weird. I don't understand why that would be a situation. It's just a strange thing to be doing. Well, really, yeah, you're right. We should all be getting on, and it could be a great adventure if we did. But for whatever reason, people just don't. They just don't. And you know, we've heard ourselves that people put comments up about us on their like page. Okay, that's what we want to do. That's not my kind of way of doing things. I like to just, keep doing what we're doing, enjoy what we're doing, and do things right. And my advice is, if you want to get into paranormal, it's a fantastic thing to get involved with, but don't get involved in the politics.
No, I think there is a lot of politics out there within the paranormal, and like me and yourself, we will never talk about other groups by name. We will only say, okay, we was told, certain groups out there do fake stuff and whatever else, but it's not for us to talk about by their name. I know there is other groups out there that talk about everyone and whatever, but that's not us.
So back to possessions. We had a little rant today. Look at that on Good Friday. Back to possessions. Then, James, have you witnessed or have you?
Possessions is a very strange one because, of course, naturally, as soon as you mention it, people will think of the Exorcist and everything else.
That's not
But
scary nowadays, is it? I mean, back in the day, it scared the life out of people, but nowadays you watch and you think it's a bit of a comedy, isn't it?
I know there's many good cases out there about possession, like either the true Exorcist story or Exorcism of Emily Rose, or even going down the lines
I've
of
seen that one too.
like the film with the digibox where someone got possessed and everything. I have seen possession myself personally. I know it's one of these things that people don't always want to talk about on ghost hunts. It's not. Sometimes I've seen it where, how can I put it? The person will be doing a seance and all of a sudden they're just not there. It's almost like they're zoned out, and sometimes you may get them even speaking and like trying to bring forward someone else. And then, of course, if you know that person, you can say, hang on a sec, something's going on here. Now, there's two things you could do. If a person was a very experienced trance medium, of course, you could go along with it. But my advice is, if they're not experienced, you want to try bringing that person back round to the room and everything else, and forget about that spirit coming forward. Even though it may be very good paranormal activity or whatever, or proof, you know, at the end of the day, it's everyone's safety that you need.
Yeah, and I think we've got to. We see these things happen. With, I would say you've seen Exorcist, you've seen that Emily Rose, those kind of things, which let's be honest, when it comes to possession, they're pretty extreme because let's face it, a nasty ghost or demon is far more interesting than a nice one. You could quite easily, if possession exists, be possessed by someone that's nice.
I think that is a thing. What you mentioned there, something I have found is in the UK, a person will be possessed by a ghost, where if it's in America, it's more likely to be a demon.
Well, in religion, it would be a demon as well. I know it's a bad day to mention that being Good Friday, but in religion, if you went to, let's say, a church and said, I'm possessed, they're not going to believe it's by a ghost. They're going to say, if it is one, it's going to be a demon.
Hmm.
Why? Just to clarify, what's the difference between a ghost and a demon?
Well, I guess it's one of those things. It's
It's a big
all
difference, but yeah.
your personal belief system. Some people believe there are demonic things out there, and some people believe there isn't. It's just, ghosts causing a bit of havoc, should I say, or some people even believe that when someone gets possessed, it's where the spirit is taking that opportunity to come forward and say something.
Yeah, so for those who are wondering at home, what's the difference between a ghost and a demon? A ghost basically is the spirit of someone who moved on, someone who's died, the living person has died. Whereas demons is more a religious thing where they believe in angels being good, demons not. Demons basically being from hell, and so they're more sadistic and stuff. But that's what they kind of go for. There's a lot of the devil, for example, is a fallen demon, a fallen angel, sorry, all those kind of things. So James has put, there's another James. Look at this, popping a name. Are you more likely to get possessed on an investigation if you are a medium?
I
You
personally,
James, not James.
I personally believe that. Only reason being is I believe if you are a medium or you are sensitive, when you walk into a haunted location, it's like having a light bulb on your head. All of a sudden, the spirits in there are going to be like, "Oh wow, that person over there can speak to me." Um, you know, let's go find out. Let's. I've been stuck here for ages, not speaking to anyone, and yeah,
We're
I
talking about lockdown now, talking about medium still.
no, just the paranormal still.
Oh, I thought you were talking about lockdown, I've been here for ages and all that.
Well, there you go. You know how a ghost feels now.
Yeah, see, now, if you ever wonder what ghost feels like, you now know being in lockdown. If you aren't in lockdown, do it. So, yes, so answer that question is, are you more likely or are you less likely?
I believe you are more because, of course, number one, you are open to it. Number two, they are more open to you being there, but I would still say sometimes it may come down to the medium's experience on two things. Number one, if a possession is going to happen, how the medium controls it, whether they allow it or don't allow it. And of course, if a medium is very inexperienced or just starting out on this path, they may start to know what's going on, but then they may completely lose track and not understand it.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes people find out they're mediums through doing ghost hunts because it just something happens. And, what's going on there? So it's, if it does happen, should people be worried if it does happen?
Yes, indeed. I think the thing is, it's a very unusual thing to happen, and I know even us talking about it for people that's watching, it may be very bizarre, and not everyone may believe in it. But it's one of those things. If it does happen, be a bit worried about it and be a bit cautious about it. And of
There
course, I
you go. You've
will.
heard it from James right there. This James, or Turtle Boy James.
I will add, possession is not something that happens all the time on every ghost hunt. It's a very rare thing to happen, so you don't have to worry. It's not gonna
Yeah,
necessarily
it's
happen.
not hopefully won't happen when you're in bed or something tonight. You'll be fine. Now, coming up over the next few weeks, because we know we're in lockdown at the moment, we don't know when lockdown's going to end. We want to just tell you about some of the supernatural lives heading your way. Now, we've done quite a few subjects over the last few weeks. We want to now focus on different things. So next week, when we do our next one, we're going to debate what is the most haunted city in the United Kingdom. Now, there's quite a few front runners here. We've got York claiming to be the most haunted. We've got Derby claiming to be the most haunted. Glasgow is also Edinburgh, everywhere. And if you believe you know where it is, tell us why. Maybe there's a ghost walk there because I've heard of some fantastic ghost walks in Winchester, Southampton, Portsmouth, New Forest, Windsor. You've heard that. Have you heard that too, haven't you, James?
Have indeed, and have heard for brilliant actors as well.
Yeah. I hope you great ones. Some of them maybe some more ghost tours happening once lockdown comes to an end. So there's loads of places. Yes, is it Dudley? Is it London? Who knows? Whatever it might be, we're going to debate it on next week's show. And then after that, we're going to be looking at different countries. We're going to get some guests on air, and we'll try and look at haunted places in America, in France, in Australia, everywhere, basically, to try and help give you more knowledge and keep you entertained during lockdown. Now, James, hopefully, we don't know because we're not doing a Winchester Ghost Tour this month or next month. We're not doing any ghost tours this month, and who knows what we will next month. What is the one thing you're missing about doing the event? Other than seeing me, of course.
I guess it's one of those things. Over the course of 10 years plus now, I'm so used to doing something paranormal a few times a week. Now all of a sudden, that's it. We got a Facebook Live, so I've got a paranormal books here and stuff, but sadly, that's as far as it goes at the moment.
Yeah,
And
it's very odd times. We have also got a podcast as well, the Supernatural Edge, and you can see in the corner of the screen right there, actually over this side, wherever it is. the supernatural news, which is we brought it back. We brought it back. But James, tell us, what is it all about?
Okay, supernatural. It is trying, get the whole paranormal forth. We're going to have, like Andrew just said, the podcast, the Facebook Live, the different guests. So we decided to bring it back because there's so much we can put on there to do with the paranormal, and of course keep everyone updated with what's going on in the paranormal.
Yeah, I mean, the podcasts are already available on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, Anchor, um, Castbox, loads of them basically. The big leaders out there, we are on it as the Supernatural Edge. So make sure we've only got mini podcasts on there, apart from one at the moment. But we will be doing full scale podcasts very soon. But even the mini ones have some good responses. So if you get a chance, have a little listen and leave nice feedback as well is always good. So whenever lockdown does eventually happen, we will be back with all of our ghost tours. Have we got anything new and exciting happening, James?
Well, there's quite a few things. We've got some amazing ghost hunts coming up. We've got some ghost tours that we've never done before coming up.
Have we? Like what?
Ah, that's a secret at the
Oh,
moment.
no. I was, trying to give people an exclusive, but you wouldn't
Unless
give
you,
us that.
I give people that, bit of a preview of what's coming up.
Give us one little tip. You know you want to?
Okay, well, Glenn, I was going to keep it a secret, but of course, our witchcraft and torture tour is a very fascinating tour in Southampton, but we're going to start bringing it to other cities across the south coast.
And Windsor, which is on South Coast, but we're still going to do it.
Windsor, indeed.
Yeah, so look out for that's going to happen as soon as lockdown and we're allowed to go back to doing all the normal things again. It will be announced. Plus, we're also looking at the possibility of running some ghost tours in Salisbury as well. So watch out for all those exciting things happening. And then we've got our ghost hunts as well at the Diving Museum in Gosport in July. What else have we got? God, I can't remember now. Fort Whitley's later in the year. Tudor House later in the year. Southampton. Loads of stuff going on. So please do keep staying in touch with us. And please share the word about these lives because they are fantastic. We are doing quite well with them, I think.
Yes.
So, any parting words before we round things up tonight, James?
I think the thing is, we spoke about a paranormal and we spoke about mediums, and I think one of the best things to round it up with is if you are on anything like that, trying to explore for supernatural, you just realise if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And of course, with anything, go there with an open mind and look at it from both points of view.
Yes, absolutely. And Thomas put, I can't wait, it's going to be fun. Oh, yes, it is going to be exactly that. It's going to be fun. Right, so we're going to be back next week. But as always, make sure you stay on our live page. We've got blogs, we've got podcasts, we've got videos, we've got everything you need to keep your paranormal appetite alive whilst we're in lockdown. And again, before we do anything, it's to say a big thank you to all of the NHS, all the care workers, the people on buses, the people in shops, anybody who's doing anything to keep this country going and keep it safe during such turbulent times, and to anybody who's been affected by it as well. And I know this Easter weekend, I know it's a 4-day weekend for many of you, and I know the weather's looking absolutely amazing out there, but don't give in. Make sure you do stay at home. Inviting your friends around in the quiet is not in lockdown. Make sure you stay in lockdown and make sure you do stay safe because actually we all want to get back to normal pretty soon, right?
We do indeed.
The only way to do that is to stay safe and make sure you go by the government guidelines. That means no ghost hunts either. And we'll see you very soon.
Yes, we'll see you all soon.
Have a good one. Happy Easter.